we regret the death of the auditors, and going forward, there will still be a recall of an independent investigation. It happened in this little girl case, in Topa, and where the cops were being, dug, and then a new autopsy, conducted. So there can still be a process of that. But until then, we regret the death, and the human rights tell us to, the human rights allow us to use facts, and facts are linked to people connected to whatever crimes that were committed. But once it is not being captured as a crime, we can't go running with it.
Mr. Dempster, as we draw the curtains to this discussion, maybe there is something we didn't ask you already mention as a parting statement.
Well, I think this interview or this interaction is unique, and it allows us to review ourselves based on the work we've done in the past and throughout the year, and where we have made gains, and maybe where we think that there have been some progress made. And then, of course, it sharpens our new engagement pattern. So this brings me to the point to inform you that as the year draws down and we are moving to 2021, we want the issue of human rights to be core issue for the government. So when we talk about human rights, it's not just Dempster or a government minister. It is their family, families, and the ordinary people in the community. So human rights is not for just one group of people, it's for everyone. So in as much a top government official family may be having everything to their disposal, also should happen for the ordinary person. It may not be on the same equilibrium, but at least to a greater extent, let the issue of basic services be enjoyed by ordinary people, where they can have food. In Liberia, one of the greatest things is food, and of course the issue of security. What happened with reference to the death of the auditors? It brought eminent fear in this country. So people were like, "What? Which kind of country we are living in?" Just inland succession, you just hearing one group of people just dying. Then someone asked me, said, "So what's happening?" I said, the issue of right to life have come under attack. Maybe not pointing it to someone being, the cause of a crime, but the idea to just have people dying just in land, I describe it as a right to life being under attack, either through natural or unnatural means. You understand? So it became a concern for myself. But the fear that came with it, went through the wavelength of the country. So people started taking precaution. But it is important for us to always remain positive in our given situation. The issue about dignity of a person cannot in any way be underestimated. Every human life counts. It's very important for us. So I would say that right now we need the government to step up its game. There have been too much controversy now in the country. We need to find a way to address most of the controversies. It's a serious situation. And it beat my imagination to see that after we came from decades of civil war, people who should have been the direct beneficiary or people who should be helped are not being looked at, which is war victims, but rather people who are accused of allegedly committing crimes during the civil war are the ones who are more, given opportunity to afford the opportunity. This is strange in our own society. So again, we have a whole lot to interpret that will help to change our narrative on the ground once we start taking the positive step, the honest step that will help to change the mentality of Liberian from not only being political in their decision, but being firm and nationalistic in taking decision.
Even though my colleague said finally, let me come in finally with the Simose issue as the last time. So, what are you doing as a human rights advocate? Are you engaging government on the Simose issue about the three missing boys?
So what happened is that I said it to some group of guys or individuals that if the issue of the missing boys was linked to government interference or government agency or government supported groupings, then under international human rights law you describe it as enforced disappearance. So because it is not an issue that linked to the government, it's no longer an enforced disappearance, but it's a disappearance that linked to the last person or the person who the boys work for, under whose instruction that they departed Monrovia, that have caused me to say that that individual should be under thorough investigation.
But then the government is allegedly protecting him.
So
how do you speak
this
to
is
that?
where we say one government is no party to an alleged disappearance, then the government should do everything to ensure that the life of the boys are protected. And so up to this time, like you're saying, he's protected. I need to define that form of protection. But again, we use this medium to say that until the whereabouts of the boys are known or given, Simose should be held on a thorough investigation.
Have you met the parents of those missing?
So we talked to a couple. We talked to them, and we're making some intervention. And I don't want to expand on some of the things that we want to do, but it go down very deep for healthy young people to just disappear in the blue sky, and there has not been any information of their death. If there are any